kind of reviewing our beach day trip. Balandra, Tecolote, and Pinchulingi.
Pichulingi.
Yeah, I said it right.
She keeps trying to say Pinchulingi.
If I translate it, it means something bad.
Probably.
Nice because, sorry, we have a lot of dogs in the house today.
Right.
So many dogs.
The crowd.
And dogs.
That's a Pichulingi, don't they?
Yeah, we already said that.
Okay. Good.
Playa Balandra, beautiful. I think
I recommend it. Thumbs up.
some
for
of the
sure.
most gorgeous water I've ever seen.
Very crystal clear.
Super shallow, good for families.
Yeah. Good for kids that are
yeah.
starting to get to know the water.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about like,
You don't have to worry about like high levels of water. Definitely.
you mean deep water.
That's what I meant.
Or like rip currents or any of that. Yeah, Balandra, you want to go early. I think it opens at 7 a.m. So we kind of were on the road super early.
Get there very early.
Yeah.
Even if you have to take a nap at the beach,
Which is
it's worth it.
Another thing to note, which is really nice about the beach and probably why it's one of my favorite, is it doesn't have any food or drink or vendors or anything.
Yes.
Like nobody's trying to sell you anything, which is so nice. But you need to bring, we like bought a cooler at OXXO or whatever. We ended up not really even needing it. We kept it in the car because we spent like half the morning there, and at 11 they were kind of filtering people out, and that's perfect time to head into town, get lunch, or head to Tecolote, which is a 2-minute drive,
Right.
and they have restaurants and food. In
They do
theory.
have food there, so
Also, it's really nice because they kind of have the people checking you in. They only allow a limited number of people because they try to keep the beach really clean and pristine. They don't even look. They weren't even there when we arrived, but
Correct.
it filters out the riffraff, I guess.
yeah.
And
Like-
it's not overly crowded. So there are like little hiking trails really close by. They're not that terrible, but you can walk to the next beach over. I don't know. There are a bunch of little beaches nearby. So bring some shoes that have a back, like flip-flops won't work very well because the rocks just slide. I brought my like Tevas or Chacos or whatever they're called. Struggling.
We went during the weekday, so it wasn't so
Yeah.
busy. But I can only assume in the weekend, oh, forget it.
Easy if you want to make it. You can hike for 2 seconds and see kind of like a aerial view of the beach, which is really pretty. Once you get to the top, you actually have to kind of go down and go on the other, there's like another like tiny little hill in front of the main hill, and that's where people get their like Instagram photos and that sort of thing.
But so we kind of just like got out of the way. Woke up to find out somebody got stung by a
Stingray.
a manta ray or whatever. So when you're walking on the sand, shuffle your feet through the sand when you're walking. Just shuffle your feet, that way you don't get bit by or stung by a stingray.
Yeah.
So
We left just in time. It looks, if you take a picture of the beach or a video, it looks like there's like seaweed in the water, but it's actually just like little divots that the rays have like settled down in. And you can't see them when you walk in because they kind of like go under the first layer of sand. So,
but you get to pick your own cabana because they have little cabanas, and you get to pick your own cabana. So we did do that.
it's not like a cabana.
It's like a little palapa. Palapa. That's what
So
I
it's
meant
just
to
like
say.
a little, and it doesn't give you shade in the morning, but once it starts to heat up, you'll be happy you have that.
For sure.
No, I was thinking they have the kayaks there. We didn't rent one. We didn't see anyone renting. I don't know if they're free or you pay for them. I assume you do, but no one was there like
To do all the renting and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's the whole bay itself is probably way too shallow. Most of it for the kayak.
The kayak,
a
yeah.
significant amount is
I
ankle
mean,
high.
we walk, yeah.
You
I
could
think
walk
the
clear
most
across.
was up my knee.
And Pichilingue.
Pichilingue.
I like
so
seeing that. It's just a beach on the way to Playa Balandra or on the way back.
you can obviously the port. There's some sailboats there and stuff. There's a good place to, if you're like van traveling or whatever, you can park your van right in front of the beach.
Like a nice laid back vibe.
Yes.
And they were all chill. But it also had like it's what seemed like local Mexicans setting up their like little barbecue for the day and chilling there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like a point of, it looked like a water taxi kind of like came to that little beach and
Oh
left.
yeah, that's true.
There's like 2 or 3 restaurants on that beach.
There's a tour place in there too, I think.
Yeah, we didn't check the restaurants out, but I'm sure they're, amazing views.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little bay because and it's deep enough. It gets deep enough. So you have sailboats anchored there, and it's right. You have views of the big port there.
Mm-hmm. Playa Tecolote, which, like we said, it's probably 5-minute drive on a car, if anything.
If less than
Yeah. There's food, there's drinks, there is
more RV van
more
lifers.
RV van lifers for sure.
It's a lot bigger of a beach.
Yeah, it's longer.
I think the backdrop was really cool too, like this big
Mountains and
I guess
desert,
it's mountain.
mountain
but yes.
deserts, cactus.
Yeah,
Wasn't there
very
cactus
cool.
there? Yeah, it's a cool little place.
At some point I was like, we decided not to drive any farther because I was just envisioning the car getting stuck. If you have a 4x4, you can go down to a spot where there's no people around whatsoever. There was still nobody around within 50 feet of us in any direction.
Yeah, there is actually waves there. So it's not like Balandra where the water is very calm. There is waves, there's some open ocean basically.
It's not in a little bay. Like Balandra and Pichilingue are like in little bays. This was actually like open. It's not the ocean, the Bay of Cortez or camp there. There was a lot of camping, and they have like a van life get together once a year, like February or something, where a bunch of like van lifers get together at that beach. All the water at all these locations, especially in March, is pretty cold.
Yes.
So I was not keen on swimming. I'd like get up to my knees and be like, I'm done. But I'm sure in the summer during the days it's probably scorching as well because it is desert.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cold in the morning. In the La
When
Paz
we
area.
went.
Yeah. Well, it's the desert, so in the winter months it's really cold in the morning, and it's really easy. You really can't miss Balandra or Tecolote. The road ends at each. There's a fork in the road at some point from La Paz to there, and it goes left or right. If you go left, you're going to Balandra. If you go right, you're going to Tecolote. And then it ends in sand. So you literally you can't really miss them. Which one's your favorite though?
I'd have to say Pichilingue
Yeah, same.
was my favorite.
Yeah. The vibe there is cool.
Yeah.
I like the vibe at Pichilenge the best. Yeah, and the road to there is super simple. It was nice. There are a lot of bikers and runners in the morning doing their like morning run, jog, bike.
Yes.
And then we saw a couple other beaches on the way back. I don't know the names of them, but they seem pretty much a little smaller, and they're closer to La Paz, so they seem pretty crowded.
Yeah.
But again, the water was beautiful, so I can't imagine they wouldn't be nice. There were like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Same, they had like little palapas and like a restaurant. So you can really spend days there just exploring the beaches, let alone like excursions with the whale sharks and that kind of thing. Other people talk about exploring some other beaches that are even more hidden, or I like looked up a few. You can't get to them because
You gotta hike to them or something?
I think you have to hike to them, or there's a bunch of roads on the way to Balandra that are, you don't even want to pull over because there's like every 15 feet, there's a sign that's like, no trespassing.
Private property.
Remember?
Propiedad privada.
Yeah, so you don't really want to like go down a road you don't know because it's all like no trespassing, private property. One thing about these beaches that we didn't notice in Cancun was no seaweed or anything either. That was nice. In
Yeah.
Cancun, there's all that sargassum or something that sounds like sarcasm. At these beaches, I mean, the water was crystal clear, and I think the thing is they're all so close together, like relatively, that you can do all of them in a day easily.
Right.
I would also be content with doing a day at each spot.
Yeah.
You know, like their own separate and just like spend an entire day. Yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions or questions, like leave a comment and we'll get back to you 100%.
And please subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. We'll put more stuff up, we promise. We'll try.
Okay, when you say we, you mean I'm going to do all
She's gonna do it because I'm doing other things.